Thank you. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the PM, I think, is going to take his leave. He has another commitment, and we'd like to thank him very much for attending and being part of this roundtable. Siyabonga, Nkosi. What's that? Okay, can we just round off now? Come this side. Leps, would you what? Sure. Digeta magebi gola pora.
I'm being put on the spot. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lebo Biko. I suppose I'm being made to talk because Sis knows I'm a feminist at heart completely. I run 3 businesses, all of which at the core of it is about supporting women's accelerated participation in economies. I'm a strategist, and so I run a strategy consulting firm, which focuses on strategy development and leadership development with a particular passion for supporting women leaders. I run an NGO called Womenomics Africa. As you can tell, it's the economics of women, which is really around helping to, I suppose, address the key issues around access that women have. So access to information and insights, so we connect women to information and insights, access to markets and capital, so we connect them to ecosystems to support their growth in business, and access to capacity and skills. And so we do that to help them scale their businesses. Our biggest focus is around this idea that trade can accelerate women's participation in economies really well. So we focus on actually helping them to scale their businesses beyond borders, because we think that can grow. And then because of this, I don't know, I suppose the comment that Elias made rubbed me the wrong way big time. But I did want to ask him what he meant and why. And conversations like this we can sit here and complain and have ideas and so forth, but the ideas are on agency, right? So what are we going to do, each of us? And so I then have a 3rd business called Oya Foods, which is really trying to prove that a woman-owned value chain, end-to-end, is a formidable business that can be invested in and that can grow, because as women, we can sit and wait for the world to change. That's why this comment around that women are their own problem rubs me the wrong way, because I think it's a cop-out to keep the status quo. It helps people, so I don't believe it. I don't believe that as women we don't do what we need to do. I believe the environment needs to change to support women, and we need commitment to get that, to do that. So for us, when you're in advocacy work, you can be in the realm of we need to, we should, we must, for a long time, right? We're like 30 years after Beijing already, and we need to, we must. And everybody knows we need to, we must, but they don't do it. And so the work of Oya Foods is really trying to prove that when women are part of resilient value chains, the issue that you made around COVID, women suffered the most during COVID, and yet the funding for women was taken away at that particular time when they needed it the most. Women entrepreneurs, women at home, women in small businesses. And so we built the business to try and prove what it looks like when it can be done. And so support is really great. So I suppose for me, the challenge around conversations like this is that they can stay in the room. And we can talk about what needs to happen, and we know the stats. We don't have to prove the stats around what an inclusive economy looks like, whether it's about women or whether it's about Black people. We know that you cannot grow any economy if half of your population is not part of it. You cannot grow any economy in South Africa when the majority is not part of it. So I suppose for me, the challenge is for everybody in this room. What's the one thing that you're going to do to change after today? Because otherwise we can sit here and we know the theories, we know the stats, we know it all. So what's the one thing that you're going to change? Either to make sure that women in your organization are better participating, or that we've got a lot of asset managers here. We know the issues of supply side and demand side capital, right, for women. And the issues on the inside. What's the one thing that you're going to do? Because it's the one thing that leads to the next. Otherwise, the problem seems very big, and we never do anything, and we become paralyzed by it. So I think maybe coming out of this, I don't know how you close it off, but I think what's the thing that you're going to do? What are you going to do to support that individual or that grouping in your organization or in your environment that is actually going to change, because that's the, I think for me, agencies is the key thing. What are you going to do? Otherwise, it's just another talk show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Where's Natty? Oh, I will give a principal first, and then he'll give one of the students to just make a comment. But between Usnentlantla, and after that, we'll give it to Ubabangos. Well, between Usnentlantla and Nolebo, I think there is agency, but there's little steps, that are baby steps. So we need to create an ally movement where we basically say, be an ally. When there's injustice, just be an ally. And because funding is an injustice, as Leo is raising, it's an injustice against women and their activities. We have a young person here. We've been talking as adults. And over to you, sir. Morning.
My name is Andrew Lamini from Salvation School.
Yes.
I wanted to raise something concerning the issue of the unemployment rate we are facing as youngsters. The issue of unemployment rate we are facing as youngsters. I think we as youngsters, we need to be business-minded and think outside the box, not only depend on one source of income, but go beyond our limits, start our own businesses, and only avoid being easily deceived and being caught up in useless things. That will only bring us down as youngsters. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I like the fact that you can give it to Babayamans because that's, at least you're thinking ahead. As you get out of high school, you need to worry about what happens in your world. But a big one, Principal, I don't know when are we going to have government meeting industry and saying what exactly are universities supposed to teach our kids, looking at the economy in the continent and how we can help ourselves get out of this unemployment. If this continent is a youthful continent, then we owe it to the young people to assist them to get, as he says, without going to be employed, be employers and making sure that the economy goes. Babenkos.
Morning, everyone. My name is Benz Nkosi. Actually, I'm standing here to reply Elias, or actually contribute to Elias' question about what asset managers' role is in ESCOM. And I think firstly we need to understand that asset managers are managing assets on behalf of someone. It is the first thing that we have to understand. And understanding that part basically means that there are rules. I mean, they are given a mandate. This is where you can invest and this is where you cannot invest. Now, you move to the next level and you look at ESCOM as an entity. You know, we, in asset management and other professional services, people need to have CVs, people need to have, you know, proven that they've gone to school and have these qualifications and this expertise, and for them to be given a particular responsibility. And in this case, in asset management, to manage people's assets. So mandate constraints actually defining, okay, it's another way of risk management. They tell you where you can invest and how you can invest. And they decide prior to coming to you to say, actually, where do you see opportunities here? They don't say that. They are saying that, actually, we're saying that you invest here and here and here and in these quantums. So that's basically the rule number one. So I cannot actually wake up today and take somebody's money in spite of my feelings of what needs to be invested in at any given time if the mandate says I should do it. Secondly, we've got two types of risk that we are managing. You know, some we actually convince ourselves that we are managing, but actually we are not. It's a given. There is what we call in investment systematic risk. So in that case, if you look at ESCOM, we've spoken about two things that we raised today. Unemployment. Unemployment is a systematic risk. You understand? So if you look at the combined ESCOM and its performance, actually is also another systematic risk that is actually managed by what we call governments in this case. So citizens outsource the issue of systematic risk management to government, but nobody sits and say, actually, by the way, before we employ you, before we give you this role to manage the country on our behalf, can we see your CVs? Can we see whether you are able to understand what the role that you're going to play and how you're going to play? So you've got a situation whereby people who are supposed to be managing systematic risk are the people creating systematic risk. So now you've got a situation here, you've got ESCOM. ESCOM is critical. The collapse of ESCOM actually doesn't matter where you're investing. Actually, it's the collapse of the entire system. You understand? So now you've got a situation where the people that you are supposed to manage money for, I can tell you now that if you have to ask me, you don't even have to ask me. If I had made a decision today and the money allowed me to, I will try and put money in ESCOM to make sure that the system at least is not compromised. But as we sit today, we cannot do that. Mandate constraint, and secondly, the people who are supposed to be doing that, whose mandate is to look after the systematic risk, to make sure that the system works, are the people that are destroying the same system that they are supposed to defend. So we've got a dilemma here. So we've got a situation where the government, whose responsibility is, actually they are paid to do that. And so move from the issues of service. We are service providers as asset managers. They are also service providers to the people because they ask people for a job, and now they have to perform their job. They act and be destructive to exactly what they are supposed to be doing. So we've got another crisis there. So as asset managers, I said we are too well constrained. Firstly, we've got a system that a risk that we have to manage, being the systematic risk that actually we cannot do anything about. We can just identify it and just not do anything about it. Then we also have to do the issue of mandate, where we can...
I'm going to have to cut you, Babukosi. I need just a summary of where we're going because the golfers are going to start slapping me now. Dede Ike, would you really mind if we not venture into that, or do you still want to get... I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
But anyway, there's a quote that says, fight for things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. That's the route Better Ginsberg. So in all these discussions, I think that's a fight we need to fight. Lastly is, we need to deal with the issue of internal governance of the absent landlords who are asset allocators and whoever in the governance space. Last thing I want to say is, the higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly.
Wow.
So as you soar, let's remember that the higher we soar, people don't recognize us. So let us be true to who we are.
So you should be eagles, yes. That's a nice one. Thank you so much for those thoughts. A number of things came out. Just to summarize, I think our guest today gave us a lot of nuggets to take away from the culture that we need to change, the culture that we need to make sure it helps us to grow our economy, using the technology that we have, the know-how that we have, the skills that we have, and to make sure that we, in the process, we don't end up being lazy, arrogant, and exclusive. So we need to make sure that everybody is called to the party to ensure that we grow and develop, trust each other. Growth is going to be easier when there's trust. The deficit of trust between government and business and communities is a serious problem, and I think it needs to be it needs to be dealt with. But I think there were other voices that were added into this, is that we need to turn around the system that we have that is endemic, that everybody follows when you go in. Men's is raising it, Braik raised it, Manas raised it, that we follow the systems, but we never change the systems. It's time to change the systems, and I think we need to begin to think about what we want to do to change the system so that a new world emerges. Kim raises the issues of going back to normal. We can't go back to normal. I was saying to somebody from a spiritual point of view, I'm a Christian, I said, God got tired with our speed. We were not listening, we were not looking, we just wanted to run and do things. The only thing that we did not do before COVID was to create a human being. We were about to clone human beings. And God said, stop, I'm here. Close down the entire world, the entire globe. So we stopped. Be still and know who's the boss. And we were still and we recalled. So going back to what we had previously, Kim, you're right. It's going to be the travesty of justice because we've learned new things. I think above all else, we learned humility, which is the key to the culture of organizational development, is that we have to be humble. And I said this, if you're not humble in your own company, if you don't treat people with humility, you're going to lose very good people because you want to be the boss and you want to be intimidating everybody in the world. And I think it's something that we need to do. So for me, as Lebu says, what are we going to do about it? For women, we can't complain. As women, we get into this forum and say, women are treated badly. We never say, we're going to stop the SHIT and call everybody by their names, and this is what we're going to stop. The same way they ignore you when you're in the boardroom, we're going to ignore anybody who wants to stop the women. So let's start there, but let's develop allies. If injustice is done to a woman, whether you know this woman or you don't know this woman, come in, intervene, interject, and make sure that this woman is protected. And I'm glad that we can learn from the experience Usne Ntlandla had, that you need to acknowledge and reinforce each other in everything that we do as women so we can grow and develop. But above all else, I'd just like to thank Delphine. That was wonderful. And for 2 years, you just waited, and when you were called, you rose to the occasion. Thank you very much for the thoughts that you've shared with us today. We thank you so much for the time that you took away from your family to be with us. We really appreciate you. While I call Mamnu Ntlandla Masilela to come and make a presentation to Delphine, and calling Delphine to the podium also, a few closing announcements. Those who have booked here at the villas, please register yourselves outside here in the foyer. There's ladies there that are going to be registering and assisting you. The golfers, the tee off is at 10:30, so it's a 3-minute drive to the golf course. The Magoko walk tomorrow, fortunately it's not at 6 o'clock. It used to kill me all these 12 years. It's at 11. It's at 11. I'm hoping I'm interpreting it correctly. I can't see Elias. 11, the walk is at 11. The cocktail is at 5:30. The walk is in Manzini, by the way. Yeah? And the cocktail is here at 5:30 p.m. Tomorrow. Today, where after the golf? Is that it? Yeah, it's here. It's here or there's the golf place?
No, the walk is in Manzini.
No, I'm saying the cocktail.
It's going to be here.
Here, not at the golf.
No.
Okay, so if the golfers, your cocktail after golf, 18th hole is here, not at the golf course. So we're going to come and join the 18th hole here. Can I then call Delphine and Mamnu Ntlandla to do the presentation? While they're doing that, come ladies, I'd like to thank all of you for honoring us this morning. And thank you for the contributions you all made, especially our learners and the teachers from Salesian. It is one of the partners that we've always had. I'm not Swazi. I came by default to Swaziland. So I've always heard about Salesian, and it's like never, a sentence never ends without Salesian. But thank you very much. Hope you can go back to the. Are there still debates, Principal? Are there still debates at school? We grew up in a debate session environment. So in the debates, they can share this discussion that we have here, and they can actually share with the other students. But thank you so much for honoring us, all of you. And there's still food outside. Please don't have us have the, what is fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The sponsors may not like us if we present that. Over to you.
You have to talk about the blanket.
Oh,
Why?
why do we give the blanket? We are Ndebeles, and this is a Ndebele blanket. And when we give it to somebody, you don't give it anyway. The lines have to go vertical. That's vertical and right. Cue down.
Yeah, this is.
Because it symbolizes the culture. It symbolizes the people. It symbolizes the integration of cultures in Africa and the fact that you find Ndebeles everywhere. So when you are in South Africa, there's Ndebeles. When you go to Zimbabwe, there's Ndebeles. When you go to Malawi, there's Ndebeles. When you go to Zambia, there's Ndebeles. So, thank you so much, Delphine. God bless you. Thank you so much. Next time we call you again, please come. When we start this movement of allies for women, we will bring you in also, and all the ladies that are here that have contributed, so that we can start supporting each other and stop complaining about not supporting each other. Thank you so much, everyone. Please give yourselves a round of applause. I thank you.